everybody. Welcome to another episode of Rapid Fire Questions from the A2O section. This program, what we do is we do interviews with well-known personalities from the dog world just to get to know them a bit better. Most of us around the world, due to this coronavirus pandemic, are in some form of lockdown or restricted movement. So we thought we'd come up with a program for me to interview our guests and find out a little bit more about them, for you to get to know them better, and for us all just to have a bit of fun. So today I have the great privilege and honor of having Simon Briggs on the program. Hi Simon, how are you?
Very good. Good to see you.
Yes, you too, mate. How's it all going? How are you coping with restricted movement or lockdown or whatever it is you guys are going through?
I have a very organised pantry. My walk-in robe is very colour coordinated. Now it's been good, but I'm now bored.
Yeah, well, I suppose for those who don't know, Simon is a professional handler. We'll talk a little bit more about about that. But I suppose with there being no dog shows, even less sort of stuff for you to do, and even more reason you're bored, I guess.
Yes, it's been boring. Dogs are missing shows. I'm missing shows.
I think you're missing seeing all the friends and everything as well.
Yes.
All right. Well, we're just going to jump straight in, Simon, and then we'll chat a little bit more as we go along. So rapid fire means that I ask you a series of questions really quickly. If I want you to elaborate on something, I'll say elaborate. If not, short answers, please. All right. So Chinese food or Japanese food?
Oh, Japanese.
Italian or Indian?
Oh, Italian.
Do you cook?
Not very good.
Not very good. So what, frozen food?
Master of the microwave.
Master of the microwave. Okay, I love it. If you could travel anywhere in the world right now, where would that be?
Europe.
Europe, okay. If you could be any wild cat, what sort of cat would you be and why?
Oh, goodness. Leopard. Leopard because they're athletic and thin.
Okay. Love it. What is the first thing you notice about someone when you first meet them?
Their overall aura, their persona. I'm very quick to judge. I like you or I don't like you. It's their personality.
Okay, so you sort of pick up a vibe of whether they're a good person or a...
Yes, very much so.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's your favorite Disney movie?
Oh, goodness me. Showing my age, Fantasia.
Fantasia. Okay. What breed of dog best describes you and why?
Well, that's a two-part, I would have to say. Once upon a time, I was an Irish setter. I was red hair, I was thin, I was athletic. Now I'm more resembling the breed I show, which is French Bulldogs, pear-shaped, a lot slower, but still entertaining.
Fabulous answer, fabulous answer. All right, something a little bit more serious. With the rise of professional handlers in Asia, has the dog game become more professional or more competitive? And do you think there are better dogs being shown?
Oh, I think with Asia especially, a little bit of both. The shows you're now hosting with these amazing panels definitely has increased the professionalism of the Asian show scene. But with that becomes more people will fly in with competitive dogs. It's travel, I've noticed that some of these shows, they're coming from all over the globe.
Yeah.
Some of Dinky's shows, it's the who's who of who's flying in to show. So increased competition, I think is great, raises the bar. People have to try that little bit harder because you've got some very good dogs, some very good handlers flying in to show. So I think it's a great positive overall.
And do you think there are better dogs being shown overall?
I think so. You have to try and breed or buy better to be competitive. It's not a insular territory by territory game anymore. All of Asia's opened up. It's It's a lot of flying in, flying out, going to the good shows. It's, you know, supporting your Asian area, but in years gone by, you may have done okay with a nice dog. Now you need a great dog because the bar's been raised, and to be competitive, you've got to keep up.
Absolutely. Okay, Vegemite or Marmite?
Vegemite.
Tim Tams or
Love my
Oreos?
Vegemite.
Tim Tams or Oreos?
Or Tim Tam.
Any special flavor?
Plain, boring, traditional chocolate.
Yeah, I just noticed my last trip that there was so many new varieties now. It's just unbelievable.
Unbelievable, but yeah, I'm a traditionalist. I like the good old
nothing like the original. If you had a genie in a lamp, what 3 things would you wish for?
all the non-original parts that I now have to go back to being original, to be young, to be thin, and to be able to run around like all the others can now that I can't.
Excellent, excellent. Rosettes or trophies?
I do love a good rosette, but I do miss the days here in Australia where we used to have some amazing trophies.
Yeah.
But yeah, practicality, rosette.
Okay. Or would you rather cash?
Oh, cash is always good.
Yeah, but sometimes the cash is great. It's helpful, but you don't remember that great win, or you don't. You know what I'm saying? You lose that. You don't have that memory, I suppose. But anyway, maybe I'm.
I must admit, I've got a few trophies that I have that I truly adore,
Okay.
and they will be with me forever. But they have a special meaning. But a great sash is beautiful to hang on the wall.
Agreed. Okay, you said you liked Italian food. So if you could be an Italian dish, what would you be and why?
Oh.
What does it say about you, or what does it describe?
I know, I'm just trying to think of that. So it can't be spaghetti because that's thin. I'm more thinking lasagna.
Okay.
So, takes up a fair bit of area on the plate, still tasty, still enjoyable, but not quite the desired shape that I would like to be, but unfortunately are.
I thought you were saying because it had many layers, and there's many layers to Simon.
Oh, yes, I forgot that.
Okay, what was the best advice you were given as an exhibitor?
Oh, the best of advice. Many years ago, and I can't remember who, someone told me it costs exactly the same to show an ugly dog and breed an ugly dog as it was a good dog. So I've always strived to show good ones and breed good ones. It's same money.
Okay, and would that be the same best advice someone gave to you as a breeder as well, or was there another?
Definitely. Definitely. Yeah. You have to try to do better.
Okay. Dark chocolate or milk chocolate?
Milk chocolate.
3 things you must do every day.
Oh, God. I'm strange. Morning coffee is with the dogs, and they all have to have a turn of a kiss and cuddle. They actually know the order in which they have their kiss and cuddle, and I have one that has to come back for seconds because that's her. So that's my one thing. Cannot live without my morning coffee.
Okay.
And the third one, oh goodness, speak to a friend.
Sorry?
Speak to a friend.
Speak to a friend. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Good one. How many languages do you speak?
One.
You speak English and you speak Australian. You speak 2.
Yeah, well, 2. Oh, I'm bilingual.
Do you Instagram your food?
No.
And what are your thoughts?
I don't even have an Instagram account.
You don't have an Instagram account. Okay, well, there you go. Or Facebook your food. Or what are your thoughts about people who do Facebook their food?
I am not a food poster. I don't watch cooking programs. I don't need encouragement to feel extra hungry. I can do that all by myself.
Excellent. When you were, I mean, a lot of people don't know, but you spent, although you're Australian and you are now back in Australia, but you spent a fair bit of time in North America, showing campaigning dogs and things like that. So when you were in North America, how much influence did the owners have over what shows you went to, or how much of the campaign you planned, or did they say, go and show under this judge, go and show under that judge, or was it something that you did as part of being a professional handler?
Me personally, but I think overall, the owners have given a handler a dog for their ability, whether it's to handle, to train, to groom, depends on the breed. So the owner has obviously made a wise decision in picking the right person, hopefully. And besides that, I find most of them, other than a monetary budget or a limit, kind of leave it up to the handler. That's their expertise. That's what they do. That's what they do well. So most owners stay away from the actual campaign. That's what they've employed you for.
So it's more than just obviously doing the shows and going to them. It's also about planning, like where you're going to be, which weekends, because, you know, obviously knowing which sort of judges would be more favorable to you. I'm not saying following them, but, you know, more favorable, or, you know, what sort of type they would prefer if you're showing. I mean, you would have shown a string of dogs, not just one. That all comes into, so it's a bit of a sort of a manager sort of thing for, you know, like almost a campaign manager.
Definitely. A smart handler knows from experience that judge prefers that style, that type. So if you're currently campaigning a dog that doesn't quite fit what you know they like, you'll go to another show, or you won't travel a long distance. You'll give them a try, but they're wise. The good handlers are very, very clever, very experienced.
Okay. What's the funniest thing that's happened whilst you were showing a dog?
Funniest thing, goodness me. I have watched a lady's knickers fall down as she's running around. That was quite entertaining. I have watched a judge that may have wet himself. There's been a few funny moments.
I'm sure there's plenty. Actually, we could do a whole interview on that. Maybe you'll have to do part two. Do you think that handlers have to be accomplished groomers too?
No, there is many gifted handlers that have specialised in short coats or easy prep breeds, but there is many handlers that have a specialty, a poodle or a coated breed. But I've known many very, very smart handlers that will show coated breeds with no grooming experience, but they're clever enough to have an assistant who has that gift, and they'll utilise that. So someone else will prepare the dog. The handler, who's an accomplished handler, will show the dog to its very best. But sometimes there's a team behind the face. And it's interesting to know, you know, someone doesn't need to be a groomer to be a great handler.
Yeah.
Some do both.
Okay, yeah, because I mean, one of these people that puts dogs down in absolutely amazing. And talking of handlers and groomers, could you name one handler, or you know, not too many, or some people that you admire and respect in the US, in Europe, South America, and Asia?
Oh, goodness me, that's, yeah, it's not going to be one. There's some truly gifted people around. You know, you've got, I admire Gabriel Rangel. I think he's the master of his craft with terriers. His ability to understand the breed, his presentation, mind-blowing. You know, Bill and Taffy McFadden, great people, just really nice, talented people. Who else you got? You'd have to throw Jimmy Moses in there. To watch that man show a shepherd it's goosebump. He was amazing. Europe, One stands out to me, Javier. The man's a freak. It's the only way to describe him. He's the most pristine, anal retentive groomer I've ever seen. I've watched that man do a Maltese top knot 6 times before he was happy with it. I thought it looked perfect the first time. Yeah, a freak. Who else have we got? Europe. Afterglow guys. 3 insanely talented people. It's just insane. Love them, hate them. They're clever dog people.
Absolutely.
Clever breeders. God. South America, Rosara, Claudio, clever guys, present well. You know, Ramon Podesta's team,
Yeah.
amazing, raise the bar, and just not Afghans, multiple breeds.
Yeah.
Thailand, we've got Boy. Love Boy, sweet guy, clever dog person, trims and shows, multi-talented. I would be killed if I didn't mention Toshi.
Yeah.
Long live Smash. Thank you, Toshi. Yeah, a very clever guy, clever breeder also. What else have we got?
Do you think that as a handler, it's better to be unassuming, or do you think having a bit of a over-the-top personality does help sometimes?
We all love a character. Yeah, it's human nature. We're drawn to people with personalities,
Yeah.
especially larger than life personalities. I don't think it's a necessity.
Yeah.
But God, it's enjoyable watching them.
Yeah, and I have to agree with one thing you said about, I mean, not saying that
I think we've frozen.
the other's not correct, but Javier, definitely, Javier Gonzalez is, as you say, a freak. I've never seen him show a dog, just a bit like you, that there wasn't a hair out of, hair out of place, and the dogs always look immaculate. And the other thing, which I think 2 of you also share, is that there's always a fabulous rapport between yourself and the dog.
Yes. That is the most wonderful.
Yeah, the dogs love him, and the same with you. I still remember the first time I met you was at a Melbourne Royal, and you were showing the red Siberian. I can't remember his name. Was it
Freddie?
Alex?
It would have been Freddie.
Freddie, yes.
Freddie.
And I remember I heard you talking to someone, so I looked, and you were talking to the dog, and you were telling him which foot to move. And I was floored. I nearly fell off because I couldn't believe. And I remember asking you to do it, and I videoed it. I need to find that video. But you spoke, and I was just so impressed at this dog. And he just did it. He hung on your every word, which, that was it. That was me. I was sold.
Amazing dog to show. Very smart. You could actually have a conversation with that dog, and he knew what.
You were.
Smart dog.
That completely impressed me, that you were having a conversation with this dog. And he was like, he understood every word. All right, we'll move along. Do you have any weird dog show superstitions? 2.
I will never, ever look at the trophy, line up the ribbons, the prizes. That's a jinx. If I look at them, I won't win. And I have a strange one regarding if I buy a new show jacket. It gets 2 chances. If it doesn't win, it goes in the bin. I've gone through a lot of jackets over the years, and some are very lucky. I have one jacket that I haven't been able to fit into for a long time that still remains in the wardrobe, and that's been a very lucky jacket. But no, I'm 2 superstitions. They're about it.
So if you're walking past the trophy table, do you look away or do you avert your eyes?
I look away. Totally look away. It's quite strange, but people are like, even when they say, "Oh, you've won the group, you've got to come up to the office to pick up your trophy," I'll send someone else.
So until Best in Show is done, you don't want to know anything about that?
Don't want to know. It's a jinx. Don't want to know.
Online dog shows, yes or no?
For me personally, no. I understand, and especially with this COVID-19, it's something to keep the dog people interested. It's some enjoyment, but there's a limit to what you can actually judge in a photo. I've had many stunning dogs over the years that I've never got a wow photo that actually showed what they were like. And I'm sure we've all seen some incredible photos of dogs that we would consider to be pets. It's a very hard, judging I think is more involved than just looking at a picture, but they're fun. It's keeping a lot of people interested. I understand why people are doing it, but not for me.
And your thoughts about handlers judging them, not just judges judging these online competitions.
Oh, look, if you're an experienced handler, an experienced breeder, not having that piece of paper that says you are approved to judge isn't important. Your knowledge you can't replace. So I'm in favour of anyone with good dog background judging.
Yeah, I agree. I'm with you on that. Okay, what sound does a seal make?
Oh, oh God. Onk.
Come on, that was half-hearted. All right, no marks for that one.
Okay, fine.
Best excuse for being late?
For me, who lives on a GPS, got lost.
Okay. Bungee jump or hot air balloon?
Neither. Don't do heights.
Okay. Shark cage or skydiving? You said no heights, so that's that. Would you go shark cage? You know, one of those things where you get put in this.
Yes, probably. I'm terrified of sharks. I grew up in Port Lincoln, the shark capital of the world, where most of Jaws was filmed. But definitely, I'd go in the cage rather than skydive.
Okay. Would you rather be able to fly like Superman or read people's thoughts?
Ooh. I think I'd like to read their thoughts.
Okay. This pandemic has taught me about gratefulness. Who are 3 people you are grateful for in the dog world who have acted as mentors or as close friends, have influenced and shaped who you are today?
Without doubt, Cheryl LaCour. That's the easy one. Cheryl was a clever woman, a very kind woman. Yeah, miss Cheryl greatly. I have a very, very, very long-standing relationship with the Marshall family, with Shelley Marshall.
Okay.
That's been 30 plus years, several children later. Speak to her quite often. A good friend, keeps me in line, gives me reality checks when I need it. And got the last one. I have a dear friend in Queensland, Jodie Folds with Standard Poodles.
Yep.
Without doubt, I think I speak to her at least once a day. A long-standing friendship. She's a good leveler, someone I can talk to about anything. I can bitch to her about something in the dog world and she stands there and she understands. So good friend.
Okay. And can you share with us a positive experience that's happened to you with a judge that taught you a lesson for life as a handler?
Probably the greatest lesson was a few years ago, emphasis on few, at Crufts in the junior handler final. We had Mrs. Stevenson from the USA judging, and my original dog was a beautiful American Cocker who showed well. Back in those days, we used to swap amongst the different breeds. So my swap dog was a Basset, a very dull, boring Basset, shown by a boy from Europe who came from a good Basset family. And I was slightly devastated when I found out I had the Basset. But I luckily kept every single bit from breakfast. I had bacon, I had sausages, I had cheese, I had everything. Bassett apparently liked the sausage and turned into quite a decent show dog for me, put a bit of effort in. But I used to watch Westminster videos. You know, back then it was videos, not DVDs, not YouTube. And I remember watching all of them, and I used to study every single breed. I remember seeing a very famous American handler lift up the skin on the neck to show the loose skin and get that brow happening. And I remember doing it. And Mrs. Stevenson afterwards said, look, you did a lovely job with the American Cocker, but you did so well because of the Basset and you actually knew hallmarky things. And she actually asked me why I did it, and I explained to her. And when I saw the video, I didn't quite understand. And I spoke to a Basset lady at the show and said, I saw this, what are they doing? And she explained why. And she said, you know, I'm so pleased to see you actually knew a hallmarky trait of the breed you were showing. And asked me, had I shown Bassets before? And I had to say, no, I've never shown one. But how do you know? And went through the whole story. So it taught me, if you're going to show something, you need to know about that something beforehand. It's an important thing. There's hallmarks to breeds that you need as a handler and as an exhibitor to actually showcase to the judge. So that's probably been my life lesson.
I just want to comment on this. I think you're right in saying that, you know, you can't be an all breeds handler, if that's a word I can use, where you just handle everything generically. You have to understand hallmarks of a breed. That makes a difference. You know, as a judge, one of the things that annoys me is the speed that people go over certain breeds. I mean, you don't run with certain breeds. But everyone runs with everything these days, you know. My usual comment to that is, okay, now that you've got that energy out of your system, can we try it again at a correct speed? But it's true that, you know, you can tell the difference between someone who understands a breed and they're showing it, or they're just, you know, doing it for the sake of it's a job. And those videos you talk about, that sort of reveals a little bit of my era as well. I remember watching a video where, you know, these Westminster videos were like gold. This handler, I can't remember, you probably know the person. He showed an English setter and he sort of let the dog fly. And the dog was like, you know, like a German Shepherd, like 8 feet in front of him. And then he just reeled it back, and then it just sort of did a turn on its own and came right back. And it was just the most impressive thing I've ever seen. Never quite managed to train my Dachshunds to do that. They just took off and they kept going, and, you know, they never came back. But yeah, I remember those videos, and it's interesting how these things affect us. And talking of a few years ago, Crofts, was it you won, Crofts, right? You won the competition. Was that right?
Yes. Yeah. Good memory. Kept me, well, I'm still here.
So that was just like last year or something. All right.
Oh, yeah, just very recently. Yep.
Very recently. Let's move on. Okay, Arnold Schwarzenegger or Jason Statham?
Jason.
Do you consider yourself a bit of a rebel or goody two-shoes?
I'm a goody two-shoes at heart with rebel tendencies.
I like that. That's the best answer I've heard. Describe yourself as a teenager in 3 words.
That's where my goody two-shoes started. I progressed. I was a good kid, I think. Good at school. Loved when I got into dogs. Was very obsessively interested. Had to learn everything. Had to know everything. I was, a decent kid. So much has changed.
We'd have to interview your mum to find out about that, if that's true. But anyway, moving on. Winnie the Pooh or Tintin?
What was the second one?
Tintin.
Winnie the Pooh.
Okay. Do you snore?
Do I snore?
Yes.
Yes.
Any piercings, tattoos?
Nope, nothing.
Okay. What era in the dog world would you like to travel back to if you could?
Goodness. I think the heyday of the new way of showing dogs was probably 70s, when dog showing really progressed, especially in America. The level of handling improved, the presentation was improving, some of the all-time amazing greats in handling. That was sort of their start. So I'd love to go back and watch all that beginning, be a part of it.
And do you think, just something that's cropped up in my head, do you think that America had more influence in terms of styles and presentation and grooming compared to other countries, other, other dog places, so to speak, dog nations?
I think, yes, definitely. Their level of presentation is so much higher because they were probably the first country nation to start utilising professional handlers, people that are specialised in handling, specialised in grooming. So the level of presentation it started in America, definitely. Some, places and people around the globe were very talented, but that was where it really was concentrated, yes.
Okay. As an exhibitor, what's your biggest pet peeve with judges? Whilst in the ring, I should say, whilst in the ring when you're showing your dog.
One of them would definitely the judge that doesn't want to be there. The judge that rolls their eyes, looking at the other rings, not paying attention. It does annoy me. I've spent money, dressed nicely, presented my dog, and I don't know what for. I don't know why they accept the appointment. So that's probably number one. And my other one would be judges, and we get it, unfortunately, a lot here in Australia. We have our breed standards that are a little bit of a combination of FCI, European, English, and there's differences, subtle differences, but many important differences, and they will judge to their breed standard, which is incorrect for us. And I get a little bit annoyed, and I've had a couple of polite but strongly suggested that they judge to our breed standard comments to a few judges over the years. Not backward and coming forward. No, they need to judge by ours. Same as if, our judge goes over there, we would expect them to judge to your standard. So I think that's important. They can't know everything, but there's times where they really need to hang on a second. I'll just go back and refer to the breed standard and double check before making a open statement, which is incorrect.
Yeah. These top dog competitions or point scores, are they the death of the dog world, or do you think there's a system that would be a fair assessment of a top dog?
I personally support top dog systems. I think you should be recognised. If you played a sport, there is a final. I think you need to praise people that do well at anything in life. And if there needs to be a point score, then you have done incredibly well. You deserve the pat on the back. However, most point scores are open to absolutely every single show available, and then you get petrol exhibitors that go to every single one and like world domination. Australia, we have our kennel club doesn't conduct their point scores. It's actually run by a private company, a dog company, and they had one, and it's been very successful. But about 4 or 5 years ago, they changed their rules. So top dog is limited to your 30 best shows for the year. Okay. You can do 100 if you want, but you can only submit your 30 best results. For the breed point scores and other minor parts, it's 40 shows. So it stops you having to go to every single show. Some people enjoy it and they want to, but if there's a bad judge or I don't like these grounds or those facilities aren't good, you have the option of saying, I'm not showing that weekend. gives the dogs a break. So I really enjoy that system. It takes the pressure off you going to absolutely every show. And for breeds that drop coat and they can have some downtime. They're allowed to.
Yeah.
So I enjoy that. I think that's the best solution I've seen to point scores.
Okay, I'm going to play devil's advocate. So assuming if a dog, do you think, flukes and wins, say, one of your Royals, which is one of your big shows, right? So
Yes.
it's been sort of somewhere, in the top 10, but it suddenly wins one of the Royals that has a huge entry. And so suddenly the points, is it the award points based on the number of dogs shown or beaten?
Yes, 1.1 dog. Yeah.
Okay. So is that really a fair representation then of a dog that has been consistent throughout the year of maintaining, or is it just based on purely the number of dogs beaten?
Yeah, I can understand. Sadly, our Royals, our numbers aren't what they used to be.
Okay.
So whilst the Royal was in many cases what we used to call a game changer,
right,
just sheer numbers of dogs, that has mellowed a bit. So even if you won a Royal, even if you fluked 2 Royals, that wouldn't put you in the top 10 dogs. Okay. It's just not the numbers it used to be. So it has an influence from a aesthetic advertising influence, but it won't affect the point score, not like it used to.
Okay, that's interesting. It's a good way that you guys have done that. Round the world business class trip or trip to the moon?
Round the world business class with social distancing. No, I don't have dog shows on the moon.
Okay. Do you play a sport?
Dog showing.
Favorite sport to watch on TV?
Oh, is ice skating a sport?
I think some consider it. A walk along the beach or mountains?
Beach.
Okay. What inspires you?
What inspires me? Generally or dog-wise?
Well, in life, generally. Let's go away from dogs for a minute.
What inspires me? I have a thirst for knowledge.
Okay.
So learning inspires me. I like that part. It, I think, makes me a better person, knowing things, checking things out, investigating.
I know you've mentioned some of your favorite people, but one person that always cheers you up?
One person that always cheers me up. Brianna Marshall.
Okay. Yes, I could agree with that one.
Yeah.
Polka dots or stripes?
I'm a little bit of a youth. I like, stripes. They're even.
Okay. Favorite season?
I'm a winter person.
Okay.
Australian winter, but I'm not a summer person. I prefer winter. I like it cooler.
Okay. What advice would you give to any new professional handler?
Get a day job. No, truly, having the education, something to fall back on. It's very interesting how so many of the handlers that are successful and maybe have boarding kennels as part of their success, currently they're stuck. They've got no income. It's amazing to see the ones that have diversified and amalgamated into teams that are providing grooming seminars and handling seminars all online. So I think having that little bit of nous behind you, a little bit of education behind you is important to be able to diversify. But if dog showing is what you love and you want to be a professional handler, biggest thing of all is apprentice under some grades, a proper apprenticeship, learn.
What about one gem being a good handler?
Do it because you love it.
Okay.
If you don't love it and you're not passionate about dogs, don't kid yourself. It won't last. The spark will go.
Absolutely. All right. Can you share with us one indoor show venue or an outdoor show venue where you feel the organizers have gone over and above, in terms of facilities or looking after exhibitors, and you thought, wow?
Goodness. Amsterdam World Dog Show was good. Not long after I went to Poland to the European Dog Show. The extra effort I think the committee put on with the size of the rings, the cleanliness was amazing with the staff. The Best in Show ring, besides being huge, had a good amount of seating for people to watch. They tried hard. They really put on an effort. The indoor show that has the wow factor, for me, is still Westminster. Old Westminster, where it was all held at the Garden. That had a wow. The facilities were horrible. You were squashed, you were cramped, but the atmosphere, you can't replicate that. It was a chill. It was a thrill. Watching the groups and Best in Show, that's goosebump material. That's amazing.
Excellent. All right, what's your middle name?
Mark.
What's one thing on your bucket list?
Bucket list. Goodness me. I personally have achieved my doggy bucket list. I think would be to take a dog to a World Dog Show and do well. That's still on my list of things to do. Okay. In Australia, I'm quite content. I've done my little personal tick of boxes, but that would be one amazing thing.
Excellent. Favorite binge food?
Chocolate.
Okay. Favorite color?
I'm a blue-green type. Probably blue.
Okay. Beards and moustache? And have you ever had one?
I used to have a full goatee, not unlike yourself, but the incredible blonde highlights were becoming too much, so I've just kept the little chin bit.
Right. First, I mean, you obviously came from a family of your mum and all showed dogs and everything. What was that? Do you feel that was a blessing or a curse? And what have you had to unlearn over time?
Well, I didn't come from a dog family.
Oh, really? I always thought you did.
No, we purchased a pet miniature schnauzer when I was about 15.
Okay.
And it was actually our vet that said she was very nice and you should show her, to which we laughed. She also bred Irish setters, this vet, and said, you should come to a dog show. There's one this weekend. So we went for a look. Then we decided, well, let's try this showing. So I dug out my miniature schnauzer book and read it, and hand stripping. So I started hand stripping, and that's how we started. So I was 16 before we actually knew what a dog show was.
Wow, okay.
I
never knew that.
Yeah.
And
so,
and sorry, the line just went bad there. Do you think, I mean, there was obviously people, you mentioned this vet who encouraged you to come to shows, and did someone teach you how to hand strip? Were there people along the way that mentored you?
Oh, I was very lucky. I lived in Perth, a very small but very supportive crowd. Yeah. So they all really, so many people, Rob and Eric Grimsey with the Irish setter, who was the vet, Paul and Debbie Wilkes with the American Cockers, and even had poodles back then. So many of them were very good. Even the miniature schnauzer people, A lady helped me a lot who didn't breed my dog but had similar bloodlines. So it was a very good learning experience. So I had a lot of support early.
Do you think that there was more people were more ready to dispense advice and be mentors in those days compared to now?
Definitely. It's sad. We nearly go out of our way to alienate new people, not support them. It's very, as a new person, I think I would have given up if the current circumstances, we're trying to encourage new people, but we do very little to support them. It's just a friendly word, a little helping tip, anything, just acknowledging them and saying hello to them and not putting down their dog or bagging it. We may look at it and think it's not the world's best dog, but most of us started that way. And, if we don't encourage, our sport will die.
Yeah, I agree. And just a quick one, what sort of percentage do you think of what sort of percentage of professional handlers are there in Australia compared to owner handlers?
We realistically have no professional handlers.
Okay.
I don't even consider myself a professional handler.
Okay.
So I worked for John and Cheryl LaCourte for many, many years, showing their dogs, but I actually worked for their grooming company, Plush Puppy.
Okay.
The showing dogs it's my personal enjoyment.
Okay.
I now show for a wonderful guy who lives in Perth who breeds French bulldogs. Okay. I show them because I want to show the dogs. He understands I'm clever at training them and conditioning them and all the rest of it. So that's my role within him. But the showing is 100% my choice.
Okay.
If I want to go to the show, I go. If I want to stay home, I stay home. He understands and doesn't care.
Okay. Do you believe in fate?
Totally. Okay. Big fate, big karma person.
Cinema or Netflix?
Well, once upon a time it was the cinema. Loved it. Now I'm a devoted Netflix person.
Do you have a favorite saying or a motto?
Oh. Regarding dogs, it's the 100 little things you do, not the one big thing you do that makes a great dog or an amazing presentation. It's the little details that sum up to be an amazing result.
And lastly, Simon, what is one sentence you would like to see in your obituary about your time in the dog world?
Oh, my obituary. Okay. Goodness, okay. I would like to have recognized that I love showing dogs. I love my dogs. I enjoyed it. I put 100% into it. And I would expect everyone to have a good drink and probably thank God I'm dead. The end one.
Fabulous. Simon, thank you so much for your time. I've really enjoyed getting to know you better, and I hope our viewers also enjoyed. Thank you again for your time. Take care, stay safe, and we'll see you sometime somewhere when everything gets restarted, I hope.
Yes, yes. So thank you. It's been fun. Hope everyone enjoys it. Stay safe.
Okay, take care, Simon. Thank you so much. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.